and welcome to Tarcher Talks. I'm Joel Fatinos, I'm your host. I'm also the publisher at Tarcher Books, and we are excited to have with us today one of our best-selling authors, somebody who has written a book that has sold for us for many, many years and continues to do better every single year. The subtitle is very clear: a strategic program for overcoming procrastination and enjoying guilt-free play. So we're really excited to have Neil with us today. Hi, Neil. Thanks for joining us today. We're
Pleasure.
Glad to have you.
Yes.
Congratulations on all the success over the years with the Now Habit. It's like a perennial evergreen bestseller.
Thank you so much.
How did you come up with this? I know this is a method you developed. How did you develop this method?
Well, it started actually before graduate school, before I started writing the book. And I was 22 years old. I was a new paratrooper about to join the 101st Airborne. And for graduation day from airborne school, you get to jump out of an airplane that's going 150 miles an hour at about 1,500 feet. And I'm standing in the back of the plane, and I'm stuck. And I'm trying to figure out how to get out of that plane and get moving, but I'm saying to myself what procrastinators say, which is, you have to do it. And another part of me from Jersey City, New Jersey is saying, forget about it. There ain't no way I'm going to jump out of this plane. And I was stuck between these two forces, which over the years I began to hear my procrastinators speaking in that language. I have to, but I don't want to. And I was stuck wondering if the sergeant was going to have to kick me out because I was literally frozen. You know, my knees were shaking, my palms were sweaty, my heart was pounding. To make a long story short, the rest of it is in the book. I noticed that the first man didn't do it correctly. He was ambivalent. He put his hands on the inside of the door, and they instructed us very clearly, you must put your hands on the outside to pull through 150 mile an hour propeller blast to get clear of that plane.
Wow.
He failed to do that. His body bounced against the outside. Luckily, he was all right, but it was very dangerous. At that moment, I made my first choice. Up till this point, I hadn't thought about choice. But I chose to not do it that way, which seems like a no-brainer. But the next choice was the sergeant's not going to kick me out. By the time I got in the door, I was fully committed to leaving that plane under methods and processes that were optimal, that minimized the danger. I put my hands on the outside. I looked up at a cloud. I leapt, cleared the plane, had a beautiful ride. By the time I landed, some 1,500 feet later, I rolled and laughed and saw that I had fallen all that distance without a scratch, and I discovered there's a third place. There's choice. Not just have to versus I don't want to, but choice, which has a leadership quality. Now I know from the neuroscience that choice exists only in the human forehead. They call it the prefrontal cortex. It's a leadership concept. When you choose to do something, the human brain takes over and says, I can choose a root canal. I can choose to pay my taxes. I can choose to show up to work on a Monday morning. I choose. I'm in charge of my life.
So from that, and over the years, you are the overcoming procrastinator king, guru.
Yes.
What is procrastination and why do we do it?
Procrastination is an avoidance. It's an avoidance of something we have labeled dangerous. Now, we know that if you touch a hot stove, you'll learn to avoid a hot stove. But if you define something that is psychologically, emotionally dangerous to you, that makes you feel like a failure or makes you worry about criticism, you will also avoid it. And you only need to wait about 5 seconds before you leave and grab a donut, check Facebook, feel lonely, call someone, all these things that take you away from that scene. And then you reinforce the habit of avoidance. So primarily, it's avoidance. It's avoidance of something you fear or that you tell yourself is dangerous to your ego and your worth.
Now, you do say that there's beneficial procrastination and detrimental procrastination. What's the difference?
Well, what I'm saying in the book here is procrastination is normal when you understand that there are certain activities in life that are boring. And I have some of the best careers, best jobs. I have several jobs, all of which I love, but each of them has 10% or 20% that I avoid, I don't want to face. It takes takes me using all of these methods to get myself started on it, to be really intentional about it. So I'm going to avoid the things that I don't like, that I don't want to do. But what I learned from choice is that I don't want to is a child part of me, and I don't live my life on want and don't want. I live my life from choice more and more. So I'm using the leadership concept, operating from the human forehead, from the sense of I'm in charge of my life. But procrastination, I avoid certain things, and I think I give the example there because it's happened to me, where I don't buy something and then it goes on sale the next week or the next day. And I'm so glad I procrastinated,
Right.
because I'm getting more information, So what I really dislike is when people call themselves procrastinators and they think of themselves as stuck there all their lives. This book, I think for 99 or 90% of the people, will help them free, get them out of that concept and become producers.
So becoming a producer is the opposite of a procrastinator.
Yes.
What are the qualities of a producer?
So the producer has a clear sense of worth. If you have an unjudgeable sense of worth, and hopefully you give that to your children, then you don't have to hold back on the work, because my work is separate from my worth. Now, one of the things that editors and publishers have told me is that I'm able to turn around the manuscript really quickly. And that's because my worth as a person is solid. This is just my work. Here, give me feedback on it. I think producers operate that way. Give me the feedback. I want a good product. You don't get to criticize and judge me as a person. So their worth is clear.
They separate that.
Yes, because this equation that we get from the Puritans, your worth is determined by your work.
Right.
Your worth is determined by the bank's sense of your net worth, is an extremely dangerous equation. We want to break that. Now, this is just my work. It'll never be perfect, by the way. So a producer, in my opinion, is not perfectionistic. I want to hand it in, get feedback, and make it better. So you have a sense of worth, but you also have a leadership vision. As a producer, you know where you want to go. You're not trying to say, is this the way I should go? Is this the best possible, perfect way to go? Because there are no perfect ways to go. Every path in life will have some difficulties. Just start now for 15 minutes, and you'll be smarter in 15 minutes than you are now.